You. All right. I'm John Reese. I'm here with my co-host. Say hi.
James Carrillo, that would be me. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello.
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. And our topic was, can you harness, or is it possible to harness energy from a black hole? And according to the leading researcher for PopularMechanics.com, Caroline Delbert, and I quote, "Nah, fam." However, more credible, Luca Comiso, a physicist at Columbia University, stated, our theory shows that when magnetic field lines disconnect and reconnect in just the right way, they can accelerate plasma particles to give to negative energies, and large amounts of black hole energy can be extracted. Now, to go into more detail in the process of extracting energy from the black hole distorts the magnetic field that would be supplied from an outside source, as well as the plasma of charged particles. And in theory, reconnecting the lines of the magnetic field would release the particles. Some would escape and some would be sucked into the black hole. Now, this is one of the only ways to really directly harness energy from the black hole. However, it is so inefficient due to the decrease in the spin down of a black hole, which is why you need a super massive and super fast black hole, because this process would effectively decrease the speed of the spin and the mass of the black hole. So, with a reduced spin down, the magnetic field reconnection process would almost be impossible. But this process will most likely not be able to implement in our society and like in this time because we physically can't get to one. So that's kind of out of the picture. The other picture that we can look at, one of the only other ways to extract energy from a black hole is through Hawking radiation, and I'll let my co-host John Reese talk to you about Hawking radiation.
Okay, thank you, James Carrillo, for that wonderful transition. Anyway, so about Hawking radiation. First, what we need to know is what a black hole is. A black hole is what you get when you cram a lot of mass into a very small space. They are so black that we can only see them when they have material falling in or when light emitting stars are orbiting them. Getting that much mass into a small space is not easy, which is why they only tend to form at the end of a large star's life, like, let's say, Betelgeuse or some other large star. The outer edges of the star get blasted away by the supernova, while the core collapses in on itself. If there is enough mass in that core, it will collapse to form a black hole, or alternatively, if it's not a massive star, its core will most likely condense into a neutron star. There's a certain limit to which that can happen to when a star can turn into a neutron star, black hole, or a white dwarf. It's called the Chen-Dresikar limit. But I was originally going to talk about the Chen-Dresikar limit, but I'm not doing that anymore. I'm doing this project with my fellow host James Carrillo. Particle and antiparticle pairs are popping in and out of existence everywhere all the time. If one of these pairs form on the event horizon of a black hole, one partner inside and one outside, then one can escape and the other can't. Without being able to recombine, they can annihilate, which means they've popped into existence but can't pop back out. There are a lot of theories explaining about the particles and antiparticles existing and then not existing, but people don't explain why they get there in the first place. One theory roots from the quantum vacuum. Now, the quantum vacuum is a field of energy that stretches throughout all of space-time. The energy fluctuates, but it is like untamperable because it's in total equilibrium, so it can't be disturbed. The energy fluctuates. The fluctuations are what causes the creation of the two particles, the particle and the antiparticle. These particles immediately find each other and annihilate, returning the borrowed energy to the vacuum. This happens on timescales that are quicker than anything imaginable, so they still obey energy conservation. If the particles don't immediately annihilate before any measurement is possible, then the borrowed quantum vacuum energy would create a real particle that would seemingly be coming from nowhere. which would violate energy conservation. Therefore, they always annihilate. It's kind of like a paradox. So, energy from these black holes, that's how it's done. Also to note, Hawking used a bunch of math and equations to support his findings, but like they look really, really confusing, and I'm not going to explain it. So, yeah.
I mean, well said, John Reese. That was great. I mean, I agree 100%. And now to pass it on to our special guest, Professor Ethan Sharp.
Yeah, pass it on, right at the very end. But, both your guys's, I mean, sure, that's a way it could work. You could get energy from a black hole through radiation or its magnetic field, or you could just use the energy that's already produced from it, Black holes are known for their super strong gravity, everything they pull in, and quasars, some of the brightest objects in the universe, are a result of this. As particles fall into the black hole, they accelerate and rub on each other, and that friction creates so much heat and light, it's like, oh, wow. But if you got a star doing it, if a star is sucking into a black hole, then it's even more energy. That's like slow neutron capture. So that's like nuclear fusion, and then you can just put a bunch of solar panels around it like a Dyson sphere.
That is straight up facts. Keep on going.
I mean,
you're doing
that is
great.
well said. However, that is really boring, and I just want you to know that I'm Diamond 3, so I feel like we should...
But did I mention that also, if hypothetically it was an egg?
Oh.
An egg?
He's bringing back the Trappist.
Trappist 1G is an egg. That was the whole point. We baited you into thinking you're going to learn something. No, Trappist 1G is an egg.
No. All this information
NASA is lying.
Lying. It's all a lie.
All this information, all 5 minutes of
April Fools.
Dude, I'm really starting to reconsider this whole agreeing to be special guest thing.
Oh,
you never had a choice. So. You never had a choice in the first place. All right, that was our presentation on if you can harness energy out of black holes. That was really enjoyable, don't you guys think?
I mean, that was great. I think this is the most fun I've ever had on a Mr. Scapetis project.
Yeah, the most fun. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already did my project.
Realistically, if you just take the time that we spent actually doing it, about 10 minutes.
Yeah, or give or take 15. I mean,
that's
hours. This is taking 2 days.
Not really. I'm Diamond 3, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'm just too focused on being the greatest.
You just don't talk.
But thank you very much. We hope that Mr. Scapetis will give us an A.
Well, John, why don't you sing us out?
Thank you, and we'll be seeing you.
All right, that was our presentation on if you can harness energy out of black holes. That was really enjoyable, don't you guys think?
I mean, that was great. I think this is the most fun I've ever had on a Mr. Scapetis project.
Yeah, the most fun. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already did my project.
Realistically, if you just take the time that we spent actually doing it, about 10 minutes.
Yeah, or give or take 15. I mean,
that's
hours. This is taking 2 days.
Not really. I'm Diamond 3, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'm just too focused on being the greatest.
You just don't talk.
But thank you very much. We hope that Mr. Scapetis will give us an A.
Well, John, why don't you sing us out?
Thank you, and we'll be seeing you. Space, money, fancy clothes, hops and coppers, I dispose tops. Oh, your tone, if you need an illegal loan. Gang killer, Al Capone, shoot through the bone. Sweet jackets on the go, richest spinners, richest killers. Space, money, fancy clothes, hops and coppers, I dispose tops. So low your tone, if you need an illegal loan. Gang killer, Al Capone, shoot a pheasant through the bone. Sweet jackets, richest spinners, richest killers. Quail, pigeon, pheasant. Posh boy don't mix with the peasants. Got a castle up in Scotland, but I don't know David Tennant. David Cameron gave me a trust fund loan as an early Christmas present. So don't need to raise my voice no more, the ops gonna feel my presence. I drink tea and I rap. I put the tea in Trapper. Tory donor, Tory backer, rest in peace to Margaret Thatcher. Or maybe not. She's there, like deep down in her dark grave in rot. Face, money, fancy clothes, ops and coppers, I suppose. Talk slow, low your tone.
Is this actually happening? Is this all real?
Gang killer, Al Capone, shoot a pheasant through the bone. Tweed jackets on the go, richest spinners, richest killers. Face, money, fancy clothes, ops and coppers, I suppose. Talk slow, low your tone. If you need a legal loan, gang killer, Al Capone, shoot a pheasant through the bone. Tweed jackets on the go, richest spinners, richest killers. I can't do anymore,
Yes.
bro.
That was amazing. That's gonna be our whole
You
presentation.
can't do anymore.
That's gonna be our whole presentation. Yep.